We're inheriting a difficult situation from the outgoing administration, and they're trying everything they can to make it more difficult. Inflation is continuing to rage, and interest rates are far too high. And I've been disappointed to see the Biden administration's attempt to block the reforms of the American people and that they voted for.
President-elect Donald Trump yesterday continuing to suggest he's inheriting a poor economy when he takes office in 2 weeks. Steve Ratner has been looking into this. He says nothing could be further from the truth, and he joins us with charts. So, Steve, let's break it down. We'll start with job growth. How is it?
Yeah, Mika, the economy is incredibly strong, as you guys talked about a little bit yesterday. And in fact, Trump is inheriting the opposite of what he says he's inheriting. Jobs is a great place to start. You can see that we've been creating jobs consistently across both the prior Trump administration as well as Obama, of course, with the exception of COVID. But if you exclude COVID from the calculations, under Biden, we've been creating jobs at a rate of about 241,000 jobs per month. Under Trump, it was 180,000. So not only are we creating a lot of jobs, we're creating at a faster rate than Trump 1.0 did. Manufacturing, we all know manufacturing's been a tough spot for the United States. We had been losing manufacturing jobs for many, many years. It was exacerbated by the financial crisis. But under Trump, but also under Biden, we have created a lot of manufacturing jobs, 693,000 under Biden, 425,000 under Trump. And so manufacturing jobs are actually back to the highest level they've been at since the financial crisis. It's a tough job, but Biden has gotten a lot done on the manufacturing side and left Trump with a pretty decent tailwind there.
So, Steve, as we move to your second chart, we heard President-elect Trump mention inflation there. Goods are still too expensive for many Americans, for most Americans, but it is important to look at that number in relationship to how wages have risen as well lately. What does that look like?
Yeah, 2 points on that, Willie. First of all, he said inflation was raging. We have to recognize that inflation did rage. We had a really tough spot on inflation during COVID for a whole series of reasons. But what maybe Americans don't fully appreciate is how far down it's come. It's come all the way back down to between 2.5% and 3%, depending upon what measure you use, just above the Federal Reserve's target of 2%. Not that far, actually, from where inflation was under Trump. And food prices, grocery prices, which are obviously one of the most important items to everyday Americans, which again did soar in fairness, are now running at about a 1.6%, 1.7% inflation rate. So very, very low inflation in food. So inflation is not raging. So as inflation has come down, that's obviously been good for workers because their pay has been going up, but inflation had been taking a lot of that away from them. It's now the opposite, in fact. So real wages, wages adjusted for inflation, since COVID ended under Biden, have been growing 1.5% a year. That's, again, a pretty good tailwind. It's an even better tailwind than Trump created, where he had 1.3% annual growth in wages. So right now, the American worker is seeing their after-inflation paychecks going up by a reasonably significant number.
So inflation may have been decisive in the election. Immigration also is very important as we move to your third chart, Steve. What does the border look like today? Obviously, it was a problem. There was a crisis at the border during the Biden administration, but that has changed here in recent months.
Yeah, again, Trump talks about the border being out of control. And in fairness, again, like inflation, we had a tough run at the border. But again, what I think most Americans probably don't appreciate, and certainly Trump does not seem to appreciate, is how far down they've come. This blue area are people who cross between ports of entry, between recognized entry points, the films you see of people going across the Rio Grande River and things of that sort. The green are the people who present themselves at the ports of entry. And you can see, again, how far it's dropped. And in fact, the blue is all the way down here at about 47,000 a month. And that is a lower number of crossings than we had when Trump left office, when it was running at about 70,000 per month. So the border is actually quite secure at the moment. And contrary to what Trump says, it has come all the way down. And then there's energy, another subject that he keeps saying we've got to, drill, baby, drill, and we've got to create more energy. I'm not sure he's aware that we're actually already doing this. And so you can see here, in fact, that our energy production has been hitting records. We brought down our use of coal, so that's a really good thing for the environment. We have at least temporarily replaced it with natural gas and crude oil, record levels of production in our history. And then we have some nuclear, and we have grown renewables. And what also isn't probably not appreciated, and it did start in 2019, but it's accelerated under Biden, is the fact that we've become a net energy exporter. We actually export more energy, mostly in the form of oil, than we import. And so the idea that we're not producing a massive amount of oil and gas and all kinds of energy is also simply a fiction.
There you go. Morning Joe economic analyst Steve Rattner. Thank you very much for that clarity. We appreciate it.